The Han Dynasty is the longest dynasty in Chinese history. When Liu Bang entered the capital, he made a contract with the people. The previous government has so many harsh laws. I will make a deal with you. We have 3 rules. The killers will die. If you hurt other people or you take what is not yours, you will be punished. This is the criminal law of the Han Dynasty. There are only 3 rules. Of course, later on there are other things, there are regulations about farming and trade and other things. But this is the idea, this is the criminal law. You get punished for wrongdoings for those 3 reasons. If you kill people, if you hurt people, if you take other people's property. They also made a covenant with the local laws, saying, those who are not of the Liu family, but claim themselves to be king, will be attacked by all the lords. Those who have not established credit, but established themselves, positions, will be killed, executed by all. 诛, this is the verb for killing when someone is making trouble and you kill them to save the day, which means they're doing wrong. Okay, and they also have a structure which is called 郡国并行. So they have the counties and the feudal kingdoms in parallel. Now this we have to discuss a little bit. The feudal system is when you have no power to control all the areas. You establish a local king and say, you will be the local king to take care of this area for me. The county is, I will send an officer, which I know and trust, to the area. And the officer will do everything for me according to my decisions. When the Zhou dynasty was established, of course, they sacked the capital of Shang dynasty. Right after, they said, the son of the previous king, you can be the local lord in this place. The same place, you will control this area. But now I am the heavenly son. You should serve me. But in fact, this is still the same family controlling this place. In the Qing dynasty, when they abolished feudalism, they said, no, the whole family is gone. You have no power anymore. I send my people. I will control this area. In the Han dynasty, it's again kind of the same situation because there are places they cannot fully control. They had to establish local lords, which are the relatives of the emperor. This later on led to troubles, so they had to change the system again. Okay, what about the social system, or like the social condition? Let's look at how the country is doing at the end of the Qing dynasty and also the battle between Chu and Han. When they established the Han dynasty, it is said, 自天子不能拒，君嗣. This means the emperor cannot have 4 horses to drive his chariot that's of the same pure color. They cannot find, from the whole country, they cannot find 4 horses which are purely white for the emperor. And the government officials, like the generals and the advisors, they would have to take bullock carts, they have to use cattle, which is like not looking very nice, People have no savings. They have no extra resources to save. So in the later period, which is called Wenjin 𝐰𝐸𝐺, so the later following 2 emperors, Wen and Jin, they had this period where they really worked on economy and letting the people develop. So it is in accordance with the Taoist idea, 黄老治术. So, of course, this 黄老 is like the Yellow Emperor and 𝐷𝐷, so it refers to the Taoist tradition. So they follow the Taoist idea, let people rest. Don't let them do so much work for the government. Just let them develop things for their own lives. Don't interfere with them. So they have 𝐸𝐴𝐻伯父, which means they don't ask for labor duties so much. They don't ask for money. They don't ask for tax or food so much from the people. Okay, and we'll go to the next one. Let's look at the story. This is Wenji. This is the first emperor in Wenjin 𝐸𝐷𝐬. So what I just mentioned to be those two emperors. Wenji is a title that was given to him later on. So when you see those titles, they are not the names of the emperors. These are titles given later on. This is called 谥号. So this is the title when they die, when the emperor dies, people will have a meeting. They say, we will come up with a title to summarize the life of this leader. So if you see any, TV series that would refer to the person when he was alive by his death title, you know they don't know what they're doing. There are such examples, but let's not go into that. This is the story of 陆台袭京. So the emperor Wen wishes to build a balcony at the palace. Okay, then he called in workers to estimate. It's worth 100 gold, he was told, and he was surprised. 100 units of gold. That's equivalent to the belonging of 10 middle families. I have been given my father's palace and houses. I often fear I'm not worthy. 常恐羞之, which means I fear to insult what's given to me. I have not done enough to be justified for what I'm given. So how can I, in addition, build a balcony? I cannot do that. He said, 100 units of gold. My people are poor. Let's not do that. Next one. Same emperor. This is the story about an officer. This is a 廷尉. So this is the title for a position that is responsible for executing the law. 张世之, he is the officer. 世之为廷尉. Okay, he was the law officer. The highness was traveling out from the palace through Zhongwei Bridge. A person walked out from below the bridge, and the horses were frightened. It was a chaos, and they sent the guards to capture him, gave him to the law officer. So then the officer asked him, okay, what were you doing there? I'm the citizen. I heard the traffic regulation, because when the emperor goes out, people should avoid him. So there's the traffic regulation. The emperor is passing by here, then everyone should go away. Now, he was hiding below the bridge because he heard there is the traffic regulation, but he was waiting for a long time. He thought, yeah, I think now the emperor has already passed. So he walked out, and then he ran into the emperor's chariot. So the officer concluded, okay, a person offended the traffic regulation should be fined. The report actually made the emperor angry. He said, this person scared my horses himself. My horses, luckily, are gentle. If it was, another horse, maybe I would get hurt. And you, the officer, only judged that he should be punished with a fine. Let's look at how he deals with this. This is one story where you see the officer or the scholar, right, in their position. They hold on to the right values. They resisted the power from doing, the wrong thing. The officer said, the law is what the emperor and the people commonly have. Today, the law states so. and the punishment is harder, then the law has no credibility to people. Also, if just then, so be it. If, Highness, you decided to kill him immediately, so be it. But today, it is so that it's given to me, the law officer. The law officer, 廷尉, is the balance for all under heaven. If I have a bias, then the use of law everywhere would be influenced. How can people know what to do? You know, the law has no credibility anymore. We would just have a bias because the emperor is angry. Then the law is worthless. There's a long silence. The emperor said, the officer's judgment is correct. Pay your fine, go away. From the text we know, the emperor has power over the law. He said, so be it if you decided to kill him just then. According to the written laws, he should pay this fine. But if the emperor is angry, he said, I will kill you. He can. But then he decided to give this person to the law officer. The law officer insisted. He said, I insist to do what the law states, because the law is what you have in common with the people. This is our agreement with all the people. We cannot lose the credibility of the law. And, you know, this is the kind of stories that get recorded from the Han Dynasty. Let's look at the next one. The next emperor, Han Jindi, so now we're going back to the problem with the feudal system. They had relatives as local lords. They are getting more and more influence. So it was said, maybe we should take away part of their power. They gave the order. They will take away some of the benefits the lords have, which directly led to the rebellion of the 7 kingdoms, which they have to put down later on. And that means it is really not a stable situation if we have the local lords and give them so much power. Because when they get more powerful, they want to challenge the central government, and maybe they want to be the emperor. So the emperor, following that, Han Wudi, this is a very important emperor in the Han Dynasty. A lot of things happened in his time. Then he decided, I will have this order, 推恩令, which means to distribute the favor. What does that mean? In the old times, there was always the 嫡长子继承, which means the firstborn son will take over what the father has. So if you are a local lord, you will give your title and all your belongings and all your subjects, all the land, the people, to your first son. And he will be the next local lord. When you pass away or when you are too old, you don't want to deal with it anymore. Now, 推恩令 means if you have more than 1 children, you have to distribute your benefit equally. So you have to give all your children a share of your land and title. And basically, they are still considered nobles, but your kingdom splits up. So after a few generations, they only have small houses and a few servants. You know, you can see this in the story of 3 kingdoms. Liu Bei, he is known to be 中山靖王之后, so he is a descendant of a noble family. But what is he doing? He's making shoes and selling shoes. He has to make his own business because the kingdom was split up between so many children. He has no wealth or power anymore. And this is the result of this decree, that they deal with the problem of the local lords by saying, you have to distribute the favor. And of course, this is supported by all the other sons because they want their share. Yeah? Han Wudi also established that we will now have 儒家, or commonly translated as Confucianism, as the standard value of our country. All the other schools of philosophy are not important. We follow this one. And they started to monopolize the salt and iron business. It's only sold by the government, controlled by the government. And they sent Zhang Qian, this guy, to the west region, 𝐮𝐸. So they opened up, by this exploration, they opened up the path to the west region. They connected with other countries over there. And this region later on became the Silk Road. And Sima Qian, we have been using his quotes all through this presentation. Sima Qian, he wrote 𝐸_𝐸. 𝐸 is the record of the grand historian, at least written in English. 𝐸 basically means the historic records. And he is known as 太史公, the grand historian. This is one of the most important collection of records for Chinese history. Also, interaction with neighbors. This Han Wudi, he attacked the Xiongnu, the nomads to the north, and Nanyue, later on known as Vietnam, and Chaoxian, later on known as Korea.